Everyone, it's Angela with Mystic Moon. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a twin flame reading. This is going to be for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. This is going to give a perspective on what both of them are going through and what their current connection is, as well as what they can expect moving forward and tools that will help them along the way. Today I am using a new deck that I haven't worked with too much so far, but what I have worked with it is just absolutely amazing. It's called the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Wow, look at how beautiful these cards are. So anyways, I'm going to be using these. The same exact author actually did this oracle deck, which is called the Messenger's Oracle. So these are just very beautiful images, and not only am I going to be reading the cards, some of the words, and some of the traditional tarot meanings, I'm also going to be using some of the images. So if some of you guys are familiar with the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, there might be some things that I don't explain exactly what that card is, but I'm just using them very intuitively today, and I'm being guided by Spirit to say certain things. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So the very first cards here, these are going to represent the divine feminine and the divine masculine when it comes to their head and their heart space, okay? So I'm going to start over here, the left being the divine feminine and then the right being the divine masculine. So what we have here is the perception card. So right now, this is where the divine feminine is in her current heart and head space, perception. So it's about the way that she's perceiving a situation. So she's very much considering things from a certain perspective, a certain point of view. So currently she might be coming across certain information or just choosing to look at things in a different light. It could be that she's looking at things in a negative light or a positive light, okay? But whatever she is whatever she is choosing to look at, she's focusing on it. She's focusing on it with such intent that she's thinking about acting on her thoughts. She's thinking about acting on something that she's been thinking about for quite some time. But the message here, though, from Spirit is to focus before you act. Focus and then act. Make sure that your intentions are pure. Make sure your intentions are going to probably have a good outcome. So if she's angry or she's feeling like she needs to, flip out maybe on the divine masculine or whatever that may be, Spirit's just asking her to consider the way that she's looking at things. Maybe certain things that she's seeing right now aren't exactly the way that she's perceiving them. Maybe she's getting angry about something or just seeing something that's not exactly the way she thinks. And this has actually come up plenty of times in the last few readings that I've done. It's all about the way that the feminine is looking at a situation. She might not be seeing things clearly. So focus before she acts is what Spirit is trying to tell her right now when it comes to the way that she's thinking about something and the way it's making her feel, okay? For the divine masculine, what we have here, this one here, is the Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords card traditionally is a card where somebody is in a lot of, not necessarily pain, but mental anguish, which I guess is pain, but it's more on the mental realms where they're really feeling like things are just a nightmare. They could be haunted at this time. They could be shamed or feeling guilty over something that they've done or the way that they've acted. This could be, of course, towards the divine feminine, but this could be about life in general with whatever they've got going on that's creating them to feel this way. They could be in a karmic relationship with somebody else, and maybe there's a lot of crap that's going on around this particular divine masculine that's really causing him a lot of mental anguish and stress, a lot of sleepless nights, just a lot of things that are heavy on the mind. But what Spirit is really telling him is this is a time to reflect. Now, to me, this is a twin flame card here because we have the reflection of the divine feminine and the masculine mirroring each other. So it's time to reflect in one another. So really what that is telling me is that whatever he is seeing here, whatever he is perceiving, whatever she is perceiving, it's like they're perceiving this for a reason. This is an opportunity for them to learn something from the situation. Whatever she's giving out, he's taking. Whatever he's giving her, she's taking it, and vice versa, and back and forth they go. So make sure that this energy exchange between the two of you is positive. It's always about that. That's always going to be the message, is to try to make sure that it's as positive as it can possibly be. Because when you look into that reflection, you want to be able to see a beautiful reflection, not a reflection that is flawed and that is just perceived in a certain way. So what I'm really picking up on here, though, is that the divine feminine is in fact looking at something that maybe the divine masculine either has done or is currently doing, or something about what he's doing or saying. And there's a lot of angst on this end over here, because she's about ready to act. She's about ready to, you know, put her sword out there to either cut him out or cut him or harm him in some way. And it's like right here we have the hands that are going up. And it's just like in the state of, oh, you know, like there's just so much going on. There's just so much mental thoughts and mental things going on. Not that I'm giving the divine masculine an excuse or a pass if he has in fact caused you pain. But this is just saying that to reconsider your delivery, reconsider what you're about ready to do, or the sting of your words, or just something that might create more damage than good, okay? Because he's already got enough of his own stuff going on. So this is also a message for some of you divine feminines out there that may have looked at your divine masculines and thought to yourself, you know, he's not sorry about something that he did. He feels no guilt. He feels no shame. He doesn't have anything going on. And this is just to remind you that there's definitely pain that he is in too, with whatever has happened either between the two of you, or what he's got going on in his life that might not have anything to do with you. That there is definitely a hard time that he's going through. And so it might be a time to send him some of that loving light. It might be time to lend him some of that light. This has come up several times in other readings, so it's just another message that keeps ringing over and over again. So it's about lending him the light rather than the sword. Rather than taking that sword and cutting him, it's about lending him that positive light. So that's the first message that's coming through with what is currently going on in the head and heart space of both of these divine feminine and masculine. Okay, so this next position here is about the current connection, the current energies that are flowing between the divine masculine and feminine. So these are very beautiful messages. I really like these. So the first one here is the divine feminine's energy. So she's very much in this giving mode. So even if some of you divine feminines don't feel that out there, there are some of you that are finding this to be very, very easy. It's like you're giving of oneself. This is the Nine of Pentacles here. And so the Nine of Pentacles is all about taking care of oneself, so they have enough on reserve in order to be able to give to other people around them. So some of you divine feminines either have done or are in the process of doing the work of taking care of yourself, taking better care of yourself. And you're in such a state to where you're able to offer your divine masculine that nurturing that maybe he needs right now, lending him that helping hand, that energy and that light. So that's really, really good coming up for, I'm hoping, all of you divine feminines that are listening. So washing away your burdens. So this is about, you've done the work, you've cleared. Like I said, if you haven't yet, this is about, you know, you're going to be. So washing away your burdens, using those tears to cleanse the soul, washing away all of those things that are no longer working for you, letting them go. So it's about cleansing your body, purifying your body. It could even be like an aura cleanse. It could be a chakra clearing. It could be anything like that, where you're just letting go of the burdens and you're letting them wash away and you're going with the flow. You're ridding yourself, doing a cleansing bath, anything like that, where you're just using not necessarily water, but you're literally letting the flow. You're letting these burdens flow from you. You're letting go, and you're letting go so that way you have enough in your heart to be able to give. You're no longer holding on to these negative things that have kept you from being able to give to your divine masculine. So your divine masculine here, he's coming up as he's open. So for some of you, I know that this is definitely, you know, you're not feeling that. You're feeling like they're either tied up with somebody else, or they are just not returning your calls, or they're just not open to the communication, or they're not open to the union. But this right here, this is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is a card where somebody willingly walks away from something. But what I'm seeing here is that for some of you, that the divine masculine has in fact either walked away from this relationship or you walked away from it. But he's still there is what this card is saying. And he has his arms open. He is open to the experience. So whenever he's ready, he will come back. That's the message that I'm getting. He will come back. He will be available for that reunion when it is ready. In the meantime, we see in this card where he is getting everything in alignment there. All of the chakras, everything. It's this beautiful alignment. We have these dolphins that are in the background, and we've got the water, we have the moon, we have the third eye open, all these things. So it's like he's really ready for an experience. So if some of you have been worrying about if he's ever going to be able to get to that space within himself to where he can either do this healing work or just kind of come to these certain conclusions, do the soul work, the growing, all that stuff, this message is yes. This is a possibility. This is something that your divine masculine could be currently working on, and you just don't have any idea. You might have it in your mind. You might be perceiving your divine masculine in a certain way, and that's not even the case. Your own thoughts, your own judgments, your own fears could be clouding what's actually going on with your divine masculine. So what I see going on for some of you, and what the message that I'm getting is that you might not even have it fully correct in your mind. So the best thing that you can do is to try not to think in those terms. Try not to get caught up in your own perceptions and your own thoughts. Really work on just clearing yourself and just being in that very not only receptive state, but that giving state to your masculine, because I see whatever you're giving here is actually helping him. It's actually really helping him come into this power. It's very spiritual power. And also it's a message of him walking away from things that are no longer working for him. Him abandoning old ideas, outdated beliefs about himself or other people or situations, whatever those things are. He's able to walk away from those things so he can in turn walk towards you, walk towards this union. But if it's not exactly this union at this time, it could just be more to like being alone, being okay with being alone, maybe not being with a karmic relationship, maybe not being in a codependent type of situation if some of your divine masculines have codependency issues. But whatever this is, they're coming into their own power, which is really, really good. This one is share your thoughts. So the spirit is encouraging your divine masculine to share his thoughts with you, to communicate. So some of you may get some kind of communication in the form of an email or a phone call. This could just be shared thoughts, period. This could be telecommunication. I know that there are a lot of you out there that are having these conversations internally with your divine masculine. And so this is an indication of that they are receiving your thoughts. So again, it's about making sure that whatever you're giving is positive because they are receiving the message. But I'm also getting from this message that they're sending messages to you as well. This could also be in the dream world because we have the moon here. And whenever the moon shows up for me, it always is very dreamy. So that is another thing. It's like you guys are going to connect and share your thoughts in a dream-like state. So making sure that you're setting those intentions before you enter that dream world, but making sure that your thoughts are, positive. So that way when they're received, it's received in a positive way. So that right now is the connection. Very, very positive. Both are looking very strong in their own power. Both are doing a lot of work. There's definitely a shared connection that's very fluid, and it might not be in the 3D, just in the 5D, but it's good enough. It's good enough for this connection for now. Okay, so these are the things that need to be cleared. Things that either need to be cleared from the past or things that need to be conquered, certain lessons to be able to move forward. So what we have here for the Divine Feminine coming up, the very first card here is this Two of Wands energy. Now, I'm not necessarily going to read it as the Two of Wands. I'm reading it as the messages for the two. So the two is the duality. It is coming together with another. So what I'm seeing here for some of you, because I'm getting a few messages, is we are in fact talking about two women. We're talking about two women. The Divine Feminine can be one of these women, and then there is another woman that is either in the picture with your Divine Masculine or was. Maybe there was some kind of a situation that involved another woman, and that's where it's created a lot of issues, which is why it's being tied up in the things that need to be cleared. The Divine Feminine could be holding on to this energy, could be holding on to just the importance of who is this woman that is with your Divine Masculine right now. So this could be a real major issue. And so what Spirit is telling this Divine Feminine that this applies to is that she has to really try her best to not concentrate on that. Try really hard to You know, not make it about that. Realize that he's in a karmic situation, that it's not tied to you. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with your connection, because he obviously has to go through things and learn certain lessons, but he's only accelerating himself in that growth for the union later on. So it's just about accepting that. And then for me, this is all about mirroring images. That's another twin flame card for me. Even though I haven't worked with this deck very long, when I see cards that have twin images in it, that screams to me, you know, twin flame. So this right here is what needs to be cleared. I mean, the twin flame connection doesn't need to be cleared, but she needs to be patient. That's what that card is saying. She needs to be patient with this whole entire process. You know, thinking about when and how it's all going to, you know, happen, and when they're going to come back into union and all those things. It's really about, she needs to clear that state, that frame of mind. She needs to clear all of that impatience and all that wondering, because it's actually creating a delay, and it's also creating a delay in her life and being able to move forward and conquer certain things and learn certain lessons and do some of her soul work that she needs to do, as well as living out her life's purpose. So that connection, their connection and how attached she is to it, as well as how some of them may be very attached to this karmic relationship and when it's going to end and how it's going to work out and all these other things, maybe what she needs to let go of for the time being. Be patient with this process. Focus on yourself. Focus on your own life path and your own journey, etc. So now for the Divine Masculine here, what we have, it says wisdom, but this is the Hermit card. So this is somebody going at it alone for a while. But what I'm picking up on this is, yes, there's great wisdom in this journey, but there's also a time where we have to realize that maybe going at it alone and being alone and holding everybody else at bay, including the Divine Feminine, is not a part of the entire journey. At some point, they're going to have to come together with either that Divine Feminine or just loving relationships to be able to experience and grow. Because what I'm seeing here, it's like this Divine Masculine, it's about revealing his truth. He's not able to reveal his truth. He's still hiding something. It's either he's in pain that's tied to his past, or something that he feels that he can't reveal his truth. He can't reveal who he really is. For some, it's that old saying that he's just afraid to love. You know, I think sometimes a lot of us feminines will, you know, get into that mind frame of, you know, he's just too afraid to reveal who he really is. And I do think in some cases that this is the real message, that he is afraid to reveal some truth. There could be something about him that he cannot even embrace. And so if he can embrace this, he doesn't know how you're going to embrace this truth. I'm seeing a lot of past trauma and past pain that the Divine Feminine may not even be aware of. And so there's certain issues that are much, much deeper going on with the Divine Masculine than she ever even really knew. And so this is a journey, a dark night out of the soul that he's had to go on for quite some time. He's had to either pull away from her and she doesn't understand it. She's very focused on this here. And so this is about having more of an understanding that your Divine Masculine is really struggling with coming to terms with something. And it could be for some of you that he's having a hard time coming to terms with the intensity of the connection that he feels with you. Some of them may not understand it, so some of them may be very afraid. Some of them may feel that it's just like, oh, it's taking away their freedom. So it's too much. They don't want it. They're not ready for it. It's too intense. That could be it as well. So this is all tied together. All of these messages that are flooding through with all four of these cards and these messages for both the Divine Feminine and Masculine. So now we're going to move on into the next. So these next cards are about the path back into union. So these are the tools or the steps that both the Divine Masculine and Feminine can take in order to come back into the union. So this is the Ace of Cups. So, I mean, this is just the cup running over. So for the Divine Feminine, this is about, it's like the last reading, act as if. Feel that love all around you. Even if you're not with your twin flame right now, even if you're in the separation mode right now, feel the love anyways. Extend the love, extend the offer anyways. Love without condition. It goes together here. Love without condition. Give your love. Send your love. receive the love, all of those things without the condition attached to it. It's just about letting that cup flow. Your cup is just running over. You feel it. You're able to love. You have enough love in your heart to where you don't have to place any conditions on your divine masculine, or even within yourself or other people in your environment. It's just about loving freely and being okay with not getting the exact result that you have attached to that. This right here for the divine masculine, this is the journey. So again, we had him come up already as the hermit. So this is the journey card, which is very, very similar. And I'm still getting used to this deck. This could very well be the card of the hermit, but I don't believe it is. This is just a card of somebody that's going on a journey. This is just a part of life. It's about journeying through life. But the divine masculine here, what we have is we have the two different colors. We have the red, which is passion, and we have the white, which is purity. So it's about pulling these two together so that way he can, stay on the correct path. So it's like him still finding himself is what I'm seeing here. So it's going to be quite a journey. That's not to say that the divine feminine has it all figured out and the divine masculine doesn't. It's just that in this particular set of messages, that would be what I'm seeing here, is that she has enough love and enough on reserve to let her cup run over towards her divine masculine in order to give him and lend him a little bit of help that he may need at this time. So he's really in the process of embracing this masculine part of himself. He's in the process. This is going to happen. I love that this card came up. Embrace the masculine. He will embrace it. It's just a matter of time. He has to go on his own journey. He has to come to his own conclusion. He can't be pushed to do it. There's nothing that you can say in order to accelerate this for him. There's certain things that he's going to have to experience on his own. He may have to go into a situation that might not be good for him, and you may know better and you may know how it's going to work out, but trying to tell him that isn't going to stop him from doing it. He's going to have to go on his own journey in order to embrace this union. He's going to have to do it. And in order for you to bring that union closer and closer, you're going to have to love him without those conditions. Don't place those conditions on how this is supposed to come together and how it's supposed to work. So those are the messages that came up for bringing things back into union. So now we're going to go on to the next. So these next cards might be a little bit of a repetitive message. So because the prior message was path back to union. These are things that are key elements. These are the keys that would unlock the door to the path, I guess. So the pathway was what we just read, and these are the actual keys that unlock them. So I guess I should have maybe done this message first, but that's okay. The messages are still good and they're still the same. So the key for the divine feminine is the intuition. This will really unlock a lot of the doors and a lot of the blocks that maybe are holding her back at this time, is trusting her intuition more, really honoring that part of herself, really honoring the fact that she knows what's right for her, getting those intuitive nudges and trusting them, trusting those visions and trusting that communication from spirit, trusting that what she is receiving is true information and knowing the difference. She can distinguish between the two. It's just about knowing, that inner knowingness. And it's also about working on her intuition. So if she doesn't feel intuitive, or she is, wanting to experience opening up that third eye, there's all kinds of things that she can do. She can, take a class, or she could, just read some books, or whatever that means to the divine feminine in opening up that third eye. There's all kinds of things that can happen. That meditation, just all those things. I'm sure you guys know. So I don't even need to list it down, but it's about, the key is trusting her intuition and really strengthening that. That will really open up the path to her destiny, because she's seeking her destiny. This will really help to open up her path back into either not only her union, but to her life's purpose, her life path. So some of the divine feminines are struggling with what they're supposed to even be doing with their time or with their lives. It's all about using their intuition to help lead them down their spiritual path, to lead them down their destined path. I mean, this just doesn't have to do with spirituality. It can be your life's purpose. That has to do with work and working with all kinds of situations and people and just anything. So it's just all about seeking your path, seeking your destiny. The key is your intuition. Now for the divine masculine here, we have the desire card, which is actually the devil card. And so this is all about him either battling his own demons and figuring out what is real and what is not real. It's about the illusions that life has to offer us, being caught up in the physical part of things and the spiritual side of things and the emotions and just all those things. It's just, that's why there's so many different things going on in this card. We have the ram, we have the eagle, we have the panther, we have the dragon, we have all these things. And he's learning to tame all of these different animals. And I don't want to say beast because I don't feel that they're beasts. He's learning to tame all these different things that these animals have to offer. He's learning how to tame this dragon. We can see that right here. So I guess in a way, I will use that analogy. He's learning to tame the beast within. So he's got a lot of different things, a lot of desires, a lot of human things that are about him, obviously, that he needs to basically kind of learn how to tame. So this is a journey that he's on that has a lot to do with. He needs to experience life, and maybe he needs to experience some things that are negative in order to learn the positive lesson that it has to offer. But this is telling him to seek his answers within. So this is about going within. And the only way that he can go within is to go through that dark night of the soul, that dark journey. And he was already on a journey, we saw. So really this is all connected as to how these two are going to come back together and how they're going to do that work on themselves in the meantime. So it really just kind of shows you what each party needs to do. So now we're going to move on into the next message. Okay, so this is how you two are viewing each other. So this is how the divine masculine and the divine feminine are viewing each other. We're going to start with the divine feminine here. So how she is viewing her divine masculine right now. This is the Six of Cups. And so the Six of Cups, we know traditionally in tarot has to do with reunion, past ties with somebody, a reunion, memories, all of those things. So how she's looking at him is someone that she wants to reconnect with again, which is why she is reaching out. She's reaching out though in such a loving, wonderful way. This is very, very beautiful energy. It's very gentle. There's nothing aggressive about it. So how she's viewing her divine masculine is that he belongs to her. He belongs to her. She knows he is, and she's just waiting for him to take her hand so that way she can lead them both back to the union. Okay? So with doing this, she's embracing her feminine role. So she's standing like in that queen kind of energy for me. So she's really embracing all of the things that go along with the responsibility, I guess, of that divine feminine being. So she's definitely in her power right now when it comes to dealing with the divine masculine and this twin flame journey. I mean, I'm sure that message isn't going to resonate with every single person or every single divine feminine out there, because I know that some of you are not feeling strong. But if you're not feeling strong, really take this as this is what is available to you. If you believe it, you have the strength inside of you in order to get to this point to where you can extend your extend your hand in love. But for me, this woman is extending her hand because she knows. She's got that inner knowingness that he belongs to her, that they belong together. She knows it so much because she's embraced this part of herself that she's not worried. She's not worried about when he's going to come back to her. She just knows that he's going to. So it's about being in that inner knowingness, which is wonderful. And then how he is viewing her, though, this is a little bit different. He's actually viewing her as he's not sure if he were to come reemerge back into her life, if she would have him. That's interesting. So this is all about if there has been something that has happened here. He is afraid to make either contact because will she accept him? Will she embrace him? She has those hands in front of her. The Seven of Wands is a card of battle. So it's like when people come at us, we are defending ourselves in some way. So she's on the defense. So she may not feel this way, but he thinks she feels this way because this is his interpretation of how he's looking at the divine feminine. So this could be a block for the divine masculine trying to come back into union. So it's about clearing up those things, taking on more of this energy, embracing the feminine and giving him that hand, being open instead of having the hands closed in front of your heart, being open. So that's where the divine feminine, if you're not feeling that, that's where you need to be, because this is how your divine masculine is actually viewing you right now, is in that state of he knows that maybe he screwed up so bad or whatever that is, that you may not have him or you may not want to deal with him, or that there's going to be a struggle. And I think for some people, not just men, but I think for some people, it's like sometimes they can't even deal with they can't even deal with the argument. They can't even deal with all of the negative things that are going to happen within that conversation. And so they just avoid it. They just avoid it. So that's why this next card comes in. Know your fears. He's fearful, okay? He's fearful. It's about knowing his fears, knowing how things may go. And so it's just almost about, it's just having a struggle with that. So like I said, I'm not sure how some things have gone with some of these connections out there, but this is just the message that's coming up for some of you. I don't feel it's for every single person, but that could be the case for some of you guys. And so that's just that message for you to really just try to hold the space, or if you need to send that loving message that he knows he could come back if he knows you're going to be in this state, not this state here. So if there's some of you that maybe the last conversation you had was a negative one, or the last exchange you had was negative, and you want him to come back, he may be in this fearful state because he's afraid he's going to be met with either rejection or that there's going to be an angry conversation. So take that message as it resonates. Now we're going to go into the last final part of this reading. Okay, so this is the final message of the reading, and this is the future of the union. So this is where things are headed for both the divine masculine and the divine feminine when it comes to within themselves and also the reunion as a whole. So what we have here is the feminine is in this 9 of Cups energy. The 9 of Cups is, like, to me, the best card in the deck, because this is all about being completely fulfilled. You're just so fulfilled, and this beautiful light is shining on her, and she is so open to the experience. She is so open to receiving it. But this is all about our wishes being fulfilled, our dreams coming true. So it's really about believing that this is very much a possibility. The oracle's message here is let go of the old. So the old must be let go before this new healing energy, these new wonderful things can shower down upon you. It's like Spirit really wants to shower some sort of gift, just give you more of what it is that you're looking for, more of what it is that you want, this happiness, all of those things, once you let go of any past pain. So it's all about just continuing to do that clearing, letting go of your expectations of the divine masculine, all of that. So now what we have for him is the Death and Rebirth card. I love this. Oh God, this is probably my favorite card in the whole deck. This here is about, it's the death card. But it's about rebirth. So once that death occurs, then this beautiful baby, and I don't know if you can see that on camera, that's in that snake egg, and that snake is protecting it. And we've got those skulls. So with that death came that rebirth. And so that is the path that the divine masculine is on, because change is avoidable. But what I'm seeing with this card too is that he is struggling here. So we've got this strong man with this tree trunk, and this trunk is just like got these roots deeply embedded into the ground, and he's got his hand on his face like he's in contemplation mode. That does he really want to let go of something? Does he really want to let go of old ideals? Does he really want to change? Does he really want to go forward on a path? But change is unavoidable. So what I'm also feeling too is that whatever he's either hanging on to, it's almost like the Tower energy for me, that something is going to come in and severely change things up for him if he doesn't make the choices himself. And the universe will have some sort of a big part into that. And whether that's a negative feeling after that change happens or a positive feeling, I feel that it will lead to somewhere positive because we have a rebirthing. But sometimes when things happen to us and it's not in our control, sometimes we can feel rather negative about it. But we have completely 2 different energies going on for both of them as a couple, as a union. She's letting go. He's realizing that change is unavoidable. We have a death and a rebirth, and we have wishes fulfilled. It's a beautiful ending for both of these separate messages as well as the union messages. So to me, I see that there's so much love, and there's so much love and just everything to give to this particular set of divine feminines and masculines. Obviously, there was some hurt. There were some things. People need to let go. People need to look at things in a different way in order to just try to do the best that they can moving forward. So I'm not going to get too much into those messages. The messages speak for themselves. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoy this reading and that you at least could resonate with some of the messages coming through here. And I just thank you everyone for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot.